Hey everybody, it's Kelly with Inky Hands Warms Hearts. I'm so happy to be here with you today for this final project this week with my Paradise Palms stamp set. This is my final video for the week. I do have 4 other videos on my channel that you can check out, and you can learn how to use this stamp set. So beautiful, and every single card is different. Every single project is different, so definitely check them all out. They will be on a playlist, so you can catch all of them together if you are interested in that. I have paired this particular Paradise Palms bundle for this card with the stamp set Gentle Waves. It's a background stamp, and you only have a week to get this. So definitely jump on there. The 30th of June is the last day to buy this stamp set. It is in our former mini catalog, and it is not carrying over. So jump on here and grab this because we are going to love using that. And then I have paired it also with the Stylish Shapes. I love the stitching and dotting that these dies give us, and we are going to be using this second largest circle. So I'm going to pull that out because I'm going to have to actually cut while I'm on camera. I don't normally do that very often, but I will be today. All right, and let's go ahead and get started. So this is our card. Let me show you what it looks like on the inside. It's a fun fold, and I like calling it a hidden reverse Z fold because you don't know that it's a Z fold. It just looks like a regular card. Oh, here's my dimensions. You'll need those, so let me pull them out. And when you open your card, interestingly, you get to see this hole in the front, and when you pull, you have our Z fold. So it's hidden. The Z fold is inside, but you don't know it's there. So I like to call it the hidden reverse Z fold because Z folds normally pull from this direction, and it's not normally hidden inside of a card. So it's definitely a little bit of a different fun fold, and I'm going to show you how to go ahead and make this today. So the first thing that we are going to do is we're going to take our piece here of basic black, and it's 5.5 by 8.5, and I'm going to go ahead and match my corners together. I'm going to use my bone folder, and I'm going to give it a nice crease. That's the first thing. Then we have our piece of designer series paper for the outside. It's 5.25 by 4 inches, and I am going to go ahead and attach that down. This is part of our host paper pack. So it's a very cool pack of paper. I love that it had these seagulls on it. I think it went perfect with my theme here. Living dangerously, because I didn't bring my silicone mat out, but luckily I didn't make a mess. We're going to attach that onto the front of our card here. Just like that. All right, now we need to cut this circle out of the front of our card, okay? So I'm gonna bring in my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. I love this little guy. It's awesome. I'm gonna open that up, and I'm going to grab all of my pieces. We have a platform, which is number 1. Then we have our second piece, which is number 2. Then we're going to need plate number 3. Then we're going to put our card in here. We're going to just slide it in. I'm going to line up where I want this die. I know I'm not completely in camera. Let me see if I can get, there we go, a little better in camera for you. And I want to put it about right there. And then I'm going to slide my second number 3 plate over the top. And I'm just going to go ahead and bring it through my machine, holding on to the top handle. And when we get to the other side, and we lift that plate off, and we lift our die off, which I put it away right away because I'm always afraid I'm going to lose my dies. So I try to be very diligent and put them away. We are going to pop that part out, and there is our front of our card. So let me go ahead and move all my plates out of the way and close our machine here. All right. So you can save this for another card. It's a nice stitched piece. I think it's really pretty. And we are going to just use the open area. So now we have a piece of our basic white cardstock. Now this one is 5 1/4 by 8 inches. And we are going to be using our Simply Scored tool. So let me grab that. And we are going to score it in 2 places. We're going to put the long end at the top. And we are going to score it at 4 inches and at 6 inches. So I'm going to slide down at 4 and slide down at 6. And then I'm just going to lay it on here. Move that out of my way. And this is going to form our inside Z-fold. Okay? So we're going to go ahead and place our corners together. We're going to use our bone folder. We're going to burnish that score line we just made. And then we're going to take this one and we're going to bend it this way. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it this direction so that I can match my 2 points. And then I'm going to go ahead and burnish that second score mark and then turn it back the way it belongs. And this piece is going to go like this on our card. Okay. So on the inside, we've attached a strip of the designer series paper. This one is 5 1/4 by 2 inches, and this is going to go right here. So I'm going to go ahead and just glue this in place while we have our little card open. So I'm going to flip that again to the opposite side. And I like to wiggle first, and then I do my rectangle all the way around. And we are going to glue this on the inner flap here and make sure that it is set up so that you can still fold your card. So you want to make sure that it doesn't overlap that mark there. And we're going to press it into place. And then if anything overhangs, which I have a slight overhang here, and I think I have a slight overhang on the side, I'm going to go ahead and just bring my scissor in and rough that up. I'm going to also turn here, and you see how I have a slight overhang. So I'm just going to bring my scissor in, and again, I'm just going to slide it right along my edge and trim that excess off. All right. So there's our inner piece of designer series paper. Okay, let's work on this side of our card. So we are using this really cool triple palm tree image from our stamp set, and we are going to stamp it with our Stampin' Right markers. We're going to ink it up with our Stampin' Right markers. So I'm going to start first with my crumb cake, and I'm going to use the brush tip. This is out of the neutral pack. They come in color families, so you can get 4 different color families: neutrals, regals, brights, and subtles. And then there's 2 in color families, which are sets of 5. The main color families are sets of 10, so that we have 50 colors altogether. So this is part of a 10 pack of the neutrals. And then this is our soft succulent. I really like this color. I thought it went really well with the pretty pool party color. So this is part of our last year's introduced in colors. So the 2021 to 2023 in colors. So this is the last year that we're going to have this color. And when 2023 is over, well, in the middle of the year when our new catalog comes out, these colors go away. And this is one of them that will be retiring in 2023. So I'm just coloring. You can see with the side of the marker, I'm not using the tip. I don't want to brush that tip and break that point. So I'm just using the side. And then I'm going to blow with my mouth wide open and huff onto the stamp to re-moisten, especially the brown that I used first. And then I'm going to bring it into the corner here, and I'm just going to stamp it in this corner here of my card. So there are my palm trees. Then I'm going to take my stamp that is my seagrass. I'm going to ink it in crumb cake. And we're going to go ahead and stamp that in the corner. And then I'm going to use a blending brush that has some crumb cake ink already on it. I gotta find it. It's over here off to the side. And I'm just gonna brush that crumb cake down in here to kind of give it like a little island effect right there at the bottom of our card. What do you guys think so far? Pretty good, right? All right, and then the next step is going to be to do our happy birthday. So that is going to be in our Memento Tuxedo Black ink. So I want that happy birthday to be kind of centered. I'm going to bring this down a little bit. I don't need the silicone mat under here, but I'm going to move my ink pad out of the way. And I want that to be kind of right there in the center of where that circle is going to be. So we'll place that down. And there is our happy birthday. So that is the stamping so far for our Z-fold. Let's go ahead and close our black ink pad for right now. We're going to come back to it, and I'm going to go ahead and clean up what I've used so far so that we kind of keep our work surface, since it's not the largest work surface when I'm videoing. I can kind of keep it nice and clean, and I have room for my other pieces and things that I'm using. So I'm going to set this aside temporarily, just like I have set this little card piece aside. So this is what I have so far. I'm just going to put it off to the side. Now we're going to work on the circle section here. So I have die cut another of the same size that I cut out here. Okay, so remember that piece was cut out of the front of our card. It's the same exact circle out of basic white cardstock. And I'm going to use that Gentle Waves stamp set. So I keep it just adhered to the inside of my stamp case. And I'm just going to take and I'm going to grab some Pool Party ink. And I'm just going to put it right here in the center, which is big enough for my circle. Just give it a nice little inking there. And then I'm going to take my circle and I'm going to lay it upside down onto this ink piece. And I'm going to grab a scrap piece of cardstock and I'm going to press that down, and I'm going to run my hand over the top with it right there in the case, trying to hold that as I press. I don't want to have it shift on me. And I'm just really pressing that ink onto that circle. And of course, the rest of the ink that I put down onto there. And then I'm going to lift this up. And when I flip it over, I have a really cool, isn't this the neatest, little ocean background. Now you can see I still have some ink on there, so I'm going to grab my chamois. I'm going to pull it out of the stamp case that I keep mine in, and I'm just going to press it down and clean off my background stamp right in the case like that. And I will leave it open and let it air dry while I'm doing the rest of my stamping, and then that way it'll be dry when I close it. So now what I want to do with this piece is I'm going to bring this scrap paper back in here, and I'm going to grab my Pool Party ink, and I'm going to grab my Pool Party blending brush. I'm sorry, not Pool Party. I'm going to use my, not Pool Party, Tahitian Tide, and my Tahitian Tide brush. Going to ink up some of that color, and I'm going to add that right over the top of the Pool Party. So I'm just going to grab a little bit of the extra on there. I don't want it to be too strong. And I'm going to work my way around the edges first, because that way it will deposit most of that ink around the outer edge. And then I'm going to fill in just really gently by pressing lightly and doing a circular motion over the top of that really pretty Pool Party image that I got here. I'm gonna get a tiny bit more ink on this side here. There we go. And then on this side as well. All right, so there is my Pool Party and Tahitian Tide circle. So I'm gonna go ahead and stamp with our Memento Tuxedo Black. And I'm going to stamp the words, wishing you a warm and beachy kind of day. I'm going to kind of put it in the lower section. To make sure it's nice and inked up so that all the words really pop. I'm going to bring this down so I can see what I'm doing. And I'm going to kind of lower it in this bottom section here of my circle. So there it is, inking that up. And there's my sentiment, wishing you a warm and beachy kind of day. I'm going to go ahead and close that. I am done with that ink pad. Now I'm going to grab the pool party, and I'm going to grab my pool party blending brush this time. And that piece that we saved from the inside, I'm going to pull that back out. I'm going to move my circle out of the way temporarily. And I'm going to brush that pool party ink onto my white surface so that it's not quite so stark. So I'm going to grab some pool party ink. I'm going to grab my scrap paper here, and I'm going to start on the edges first. And then I'm going to roll it onto my white surface here, kind of making it not quite such a stark white contrast on that card. And I'm going to do the same thing on this inside piece. I'm going to start my edges, work my way down. I'm going to grab, there we go, some pool party. And then I'm also going to brush it like so, right over the top. So it's not quite such a stark white contrast card. All right, so we have that on there. So now we're going to glue this piece after I clean my stamp, because I realized that I never cleaned my seagrass or my words. All right, so I'm going to glue this bottom section, this rectangular piece. So let me grab my silicone mat. Clear off some of my mess here on my table. Hopefully I haven't moved my mat around too much on you and you guys can still see pretty good. So I'm just wiggling this in the center, and then I'm going to go around the outside edge and deposit that wet adhesive. I'm going to bring my black card front in, move my mat out of the way here, and this is going to get glued right to this section here. So I'm just going to bring this corner first, and I'm going to match up the three edges. You can see those, the top, the bottom, and this side here. And then I'm going to go ahead and press it in place. And if I need to wiggle it, I can do that. And I'm going to find some wiggle room. Now I'm going to close this up. And I'm going to take my circle, and I'm going to place it right here in the center. And I'm going to make sure, of course, that my words are not crooked or turned, or that they're just exactly how I want them. And I'm going to hold on to them. I'm going to open my card, okay? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip. Let me make sure. I think I shifted that. I did. I don't want to shift it, so I want to be really careful. I want to make sure that it's in there good. I'm going to hold it tight. And I'm going to hold on to this, and I'm going to lift this up, holding my circle in place, okay? And I'm going to turn this way. I'm going to grab my pencil, and I'm going to make a pencil mark right underneath that piece. So when I pull it away, I know everything on this side is going to need adhesive, okay? So I'm going to bring my mat back in. And I'm going to stick that right here, and I'm going to put my adhesive on the side that needs the adhesive. Now I'm going to close my card again, and I'm going to do my lining up the same way. I'm going to make sure that it's in the center and that it's straight. And I'm just going to press that into place. And then I'm going to go ahead and open my card. Press that and open. Press that down. Okay? So now I have my circle and my piece. Now we have to decorate the outside of our card. So we're going to put this palm tree, and we're going to put this really cool silhouetted palm tree and silhouetted grass. on the front. So we're going to start with the palm tree, and we're going to place where we want it to live on our card, okay? So it looks like everything on this section can get adhesive, and everything on these two branches is not going to get adhesive, okay? And where it meets, I'm going to mark my palm tree with a pencil here, like this, on this side, and I can erase that when I'm done. What I will do is use those pencil marks as my guide as to where I'm going to put adhesive. So I'm going to flip this over, and I'm going to run a line of adhesive right here. I'm going to make sure I don't go past that mark. That's kind of a little bit too much adhesive. Let me try and remove some of it. There we go. And then at the top, I'm going to hold my fingers where I don't want adhesive, and I'm going to flip this over, and I'm going to put everywhere else. I'm just going to run a little bit of adhesive. Where there's more paper, of course, we'll get more, and where there's less paper, we'll get less adhesive. I'm just going to kind of dab on some adhesive on my palm tree, like so, okay? So now I'm going to hold it, and I'm going to line it back up, and I'm going to use those pencil marks as my guide to lay my palm right in the right spot where I know that my glue is not going to stick onto my circle at all. Okay, so I'm going to press my palm tree down. And then let's do the seagrass. Now this one, of course, you don't have to be quite as delicate as I was with the palm because it's on the entire surface. So I'm going to get this bottom section, and then I'm going to do the same thing that I did on the palm. I'm just going to put some dabs on these like longer blade pieces. I do want them to adhere, but that's all we need. And then we'll put our cap on our glue. I'm going to grab my tweezers because I don't want glue in my fingers. And I'm going to bring this down here, and I'm just going to position my little grass over the top of my designer series paper where my seagulls are flying. And we're going to place that into place. Now let's go ahead and open our card and see how that looks. And we are going to erase these pencil marks. I'm going to grab my eraser, and I'm just going to drag it over the top there and erase those marks. All right, and the finishing touch are these gems. Now these are a sneak peek item. These will be available on July the 1st, and they're called Fine Sparkle Adhesive Back Gems, and they come in 4 colors. Aren't they so pretty? I'm going to use these Tahitian Tide. And I'm going to grab my Take Your Pick tool, the putty end, and I'm going to grab a large one and put it over here in this corner. And then maybe 2 small ones. One on, maybe I'll do another large one there. Let's put a small one here. And let's do another large one. I'm going to put that on our little circle so that when we open it, it's actually going to be on the inside, which I think is super cool. And don't forget, in about a week, you can order these Fine Sparkle Adhesive Backed. And they're 4 beautiful colors. They work perfect with this stamp set bundle, these palms. And that is our card. Let me bring in our stamp set here. So this is our bundle I've been showcasing all week. Don't forget that I paired it with the Gentle Waves. And I have also used my Stylist Shapes, which are beautiful basic shapes. And this is our hidden reverse Z-fold fun fold card. I hope that you have enjoyed watching me. I have enjoyed making it for you. Thanks again for watching me. I am so grateful to have you on my channel. If you have never subscribed, please hit that subscribe button for me. And you can share my video to your Pinterest so that you can save this video to do later on. Thanks again for watching. This is Kelly with Inky Hands Warm Hearts. Happy stamping!